Being a teenager is a strange experience because you're trying to figure out who you are. You've got all this hormonal stuff going on with you. It's like biology and is attacking you and trying to confuse you as to who you are. And then the world is telling you all this different information about the kind of person that you're supposed to be. And you've got pressures from school about the kind of exams you're going to take and already thinking about the kind of career you might have and the kind of person that you're going to be in the future. And so I guess I was no different to your typical teenager in the respect of trying to figure out who am I? What kind of person am I going to be? And having grown up in a Christian home, I'd had some exposure to Christianity, to the Bible, and I believed in God, and I believed that God was there, but I think I found more affirmation and more comfort in my life from actually being able to make people laugh. I used to spend a lot of time being the class clown and telling a lot of jokes, and I found that I could really integrate myself into all the different social groups at school just by making people laugh, and it made me feel good. But of course then there would be the times when I'd say a joke or I'd act a fool and it didn't make people laugh, and then I'd be crushed because my whole identity was found in that. When I was 17 years old, a friend of mine came to me and she said, "Hey Ben, you're kind of vaguely a Christian, aren't you?" And I said, yeah, I kind of think so, yeah. And she said, "Well, look, I've been asked to run a Christian union for some younger students. Would you want to help me out once a week?" And I thought, hey, look, I've got nothing better to do on a Wednesday lunchtime. I'll come help you. So we started doing this, and through doing these Christian unions once a week, I was having to think very carefully about the things that I was talking to these younger students about, and began to reevaluate my understanding of who God was, reevaluate my understanding of my own identity. And I started to realize, actually, you know what, this whole chasing the laugh, chasing my identity, chasing the affirmation from other people is a pretty futile experience, and it doesn't ultimately fulfill, it doesn't ultimately satisfy, it leaves you feeling kind of empty. But when I understand who God has told me that I am through the Bible, and when I understand what it means to be created and put here for a purpose, wow, that brings a different level of fulfillment, a different level of understanding about what the human experience is all about. So everything changed for me at the age of 17 when I started to take my Christian faith way, way more seriously. People of my generation and the generations that follow mine are kind of known for a few specific things, but one of those things is that we're known as a generation that wants to experience life to the full. And we want to get the most out of the breath that's in our lungs for as long as we have it. And there's even a term that's been coined for, particularly for Generation Z, the most kind of current youth generation, which is FOMO, fear of missing out. And it largely comes out of this social media presence where we can see other people's lives lived out before us on a moment by moment basis. And of course, often carefully cultivated imagery that's going on there to show the best parts of our lives rather than the boring bits. And so we see other people's lives and we can sometimes think, wow, they're having way more fun than I am in my life. I must be missing out. And if they're having these great experiences, perhaps their life has more meaning, it has more purpose, perhaps they even have more value as human beings. But the truth of the matter is, my Christian faith helps me to realize that I don't make up worth for myself. I don't make up meaning for myself. That's a pointless exercise that will always leave you unfulfilled. Actually, I find my meaning and my purpose and my fulfillment in the truth that I'm not an accident. The cosmos didn't just throw me up one day. God created me and put me here, and He wants to know me, He has purpose, and He has destiny for my life. And when I understand that, I move away from trying to figure out, does my life match up to other people's, to actually, does my life match up to the reason why God created me? And actually, He wants to help me to live the life that He created me for. And then, wow, you're talking about a whole level of fulfillment that you've never previously experienced, because that's what it truly means to be a human being, to know your Creator and journey life with Him. Another way this FOMO stuff can play out in people's lives is that you can again be looking around the world and seeing things that you don't have, and relationships are held up really as the pinnacle of human experience, and sex is often held up as the kind of absolute top human experience that you can have. So for me as a single guy, it'd be very easy to be looking around the world at people who are coupled up and having sexual experiences and thinking to myself, man, I'm missing out because I'm single, and the Bible teaches me that I can have a sexual relationship with my wife, but I haven't met my wife yet. Maybe I'll never actually meet a girl that I want to marry or is crazy enough to marry me. So does that mean that my life will be unfulfilled in some way? Well, again, no, because we come back to this central theme that I'm created for one primary reason: to have a relationship with the God who created me, who loves me, who is love and life itself. who has actually said, Ben, I know you, I know what's best for you, and when you put your trust in me, you will become the truest version of yourself that you've ever been. And actually then if I ever do meet the girl who I marry, I'll be marrying her in a much better way. Why? Because I won't be putting all of my hopes and my dreams and my aspirations on her, probably a standard that she could never live up to, no matter how amazing she is. Actually, I'm putting my hopes on Jesus, and then together as a couple we can do the same thing, put our hopes on Jesus, and then you have the best shot of having healthy relationships, having healthy marriages, raising healthy children hopefully, and ultimately knowing the truth of what it means to be a human created and loved by God.